I would like to appeal that I adopt the protocol list that he has eloquently delivered, and begin by saying that on behalf of the Planning Committee and the Niger Delta Forum, we warmly welcome everybody to this historic event happening in the divinely determined capital of Yenagoa. I heartily welcome all of you to Bayelsa State, the cradle of the oil industry in Nigeria and the glory of all lands of Africa. I heartily welcome you to this rally aimed at enlightening people and expanding support for the patriotic duty of restructuring Nigeria. Una welcome all.
Invite the pioneer chairman of PANDEF, who is also the chairman of today's occasion, Chief Albert K. Hosful. Please put your hands together for him as he comes to make the chairman's welcome remarks.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Bayelsa State, our noble host, first of all, as I call you, let me also thank you for the generous hospitality that you've laid before us since we came into the city of Bayelsa yesterday. Bayelsa is changed for the better. Thanks for your leadership. And congratulations to all the Bayelsans that are here. I urge you to work together with the governor and the leadership and make this state the original Izar state, the envy of all Nigerians. Now, my speech is going to be very short because I want to dwell on a particular topic. And that topic, without mincing words, is be positive. Be positive. Our people have tended to complain and quarrel and ask and always feeling that we are cheated. The message I want to pass on to you is that in politics, which we are in, whether we like it or not, you do not get anything for dash. Those who have enjoyed oppressing us for the several years since independence will not let go if we don't take from them what belongs to us. Our freedom is a constitutional right. Above all, it is a God-given right, and nobody can give it to us nor take it from us. Therefore, we should stop complaining and just take what belongs to us. The oil and gas that controls this country's economy comes from our soil. Many years ago, 2005, I was arguing with a number of my colleagues from the north, and the argument went very heated and late until the next morning. And I said to them, look here, we of the Niger Delta, of the South-South, we own this oil. The money that accrues to the country from it is ours. Today, you may be in charge, but tomorrow, we will be in charge. That is why we are asking for restructure. Tomorrow, we will take to ourselves what belongs to us, and we will snatch it from those who have been sitting on our rights for so long. Shall we not? We will. That is the next thing I want to address. We cannot do it if we are rancouring, if we are quarreling with one another, if there is disunity among us, if there is dislike, jealousy, unnecessary jealousies. We must sink all of this and come together as a people, united, determined, and ready to take our destiny into our own hands. This is why I say, be positive. Stop complaining. All that we are complaining about is ours, and we will get it with due time. Restructure is the goal. In 1963, the Constitution of this country gave every component of the country the right to rule themselves. That is what we're asking. Our forefathers initiated this process. We want to move it forward so that all Nigerians, including ourselves, will have a country that is our own, called Nigeria, and be proud of it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Please, let's put hands together for Papa, Dr. Senator Edwin Kiagbono, Clark, OFR, CON, the leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, to address this August gathering.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. We are seeing in Akwa-Ibom with the double. There will be more improvement. That is why we are gathering today. The gathering today is the greatest gathering of the people of the whole region in one place. What are we fighting for? Restructuring. We want equality in the country. We want to feel that we are all members of the society. There is a situation whereby the resources I have in my backyard are being mismanaged by others, and they feel that I should be given. I can't put them. But the future they've given to me, I will never allow it. And that is the purpose of our gathering. Many more people will take. I don't know what to use it to. Thank the governor for making it occasion possible. This is the legacy the government is going to leave behind him. That in his time, when he was governor of Bayelsa State, delegate people, leaders from Southwest, Southeast, and South gathered in Bayelsa State to take a declaration. To make a declaration that we are Nigerian. We are not the constituency of this country. Please, unity is very important. We must trust ourselves. We are on the road. No more going back. Nobody is picking up. Nobody is more important than us in this country. We are all equal. Once again, thank you, Mr. Governor, for making this occasion possible. For being our new host, we thank you on behalf of everybody. God bless you. May the Almighty God continue to guide and protect you. Give you more courage and wisdom to manage the affairs of the job people. Thank you, and God bless you.
Invite a visionary leader, a man who believes firmly in equity and progress. The governor of Bayelsa State, the Afuma Pepe, the rock of his own nation. He said comes to welcome us in this mega rally holding here at the Grand Pavilion and Boat Club of Bole.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of our great state, let me recognize and appreciate the presence of the representatives of my colleagues, the governors of the various states in the South-South geopolitical zone who are here. I would like to recognize and appreciate and acknowledge the presence and the leadership and sacrifice of the leader of PANDEF, the national leader of our people, Pa Ike Clark. Let me recognize the other officials of PANDEF. I would like to particularly recognize and appreciate and welcome to our great state and to this occasion the delegations, the various delegations that are here in solidarity and who have been meeting and working with PANDEF for a more stable, more inclusive and prosperous Nigeria. I recognize and appreciate the delegation of our Afenifere and the people of the Southwest Zone, my other zone too, led by no other than the indefatigable, irrepressible Chief Ayo Adebanjo. And I'm aware also in that delegation you have other distinguished leaders, like former Secretary to Government of the Federation, Chief Olufalaye, and very many other people that I don't really have the time to recognize. I would like to also single out for a special mention and appreciation the delegation of Indigo, the people of the Southeast, our brothers and neighbors, led by no other personality than the very erudite and charismatic President General of Indigo, Chief John Nwodo Jr. And acknowledge all the others in that very important delegation. And I welcome you home too. This is your home as well. Let me also welcome and appreciate the leadership of the Middle Belt region that are also ably represented here. And I can clearly see in that high delegation the presence of our former military governor of Old River State, General Zamani Lekwot. We used to learn about him in those days in the primary school. And I welcome all of you in that delegation. Let me recognize and appreciate representatives of civil society organizations and various groups, the president of the Your Youth Council, the chairman of the IYC Central Zone, and all your officials. I recognize the presence of our Royal Majesties and Highnesses, beginning with the chairman of our State Council of Traditional Rulers, His Excellency, who is also His Royal Majesty, King A.P. Detespi, first military governor of Old River State and chairman of our Council of Chiefs. Let me recognize all the governmental leaders of our state, leaders of the National Assembly, members of the National Assembly who are here. I recognize former ministers, serving ministers. Let me recognize all the members of the State Executive Council and the leadership of the House of Assembly, and all our respected leaders and fathers, and Mr. Chairman, our respected leader of this occasion as well. Gentlemen of the press, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government and the good people of our great state, it's my singular honor, privilege, and pleasure also to receive and welcome all of you to Yenagua, to Bayelsa, and to this rally. I'm aware that my former colleagues, very senior colleagues they were, former governor of Ondo State, Iroko is here, acknowledge you. I'm aware that now Senator Jang, former governor of Plateau, now senator, is here, and I recognize all former governors who are also here. I was saying a short while ago that on behalf of the government and the good people of this state, I welcome you all to this state. And you have seen in this state since your arrival that you have a new Bayelsa. A Bayelsa that is clearly focused on development. A Bayelsa that is focused on stability. A Bayelsa that is working hard to promote prosperity. And I appreciate all your encouraging words and your prayers. But today we are here to also advance the cause of a just, egalitarian, and prosperous Nigeria. The call for restructuring, which is what we are all here to once again reiterate and make clear to our people, is a call for a return to the original founding principles of our great nation. Those of you who are here, our leaders who are here, are real lovers of the Nigerian project. You are the real believers of the Nigerian project, not the other way around. And no blackmail, no intimidation should sway us to abandon this noble cause. Our nation is crying for justice. Our nation is crying for freedom. Our nation is crying for prosperity. Our nation is crying for unity. Unity that is sustainable. Unity that is founded on justice. And so in this assembly, we are here as brothers and sisters. And I welcome you all to this new Bayelsa, which is home to all good people. All people who mean well for our country and for our people. They are welcome here any day. We are united here not just by a belief in an ideal that you cannot feel. In this state, people who are far away may just talk of restructuring as a slogan or as an ideal. Here in this state, here in this region, we feel the pains of it. We live with it, we have lived with it for decades and decades. And so when there is a call to reorganize our country and make it more stable, make it more equitable, make it more just, and therefore make it more prosperous, we in Bayelsa State, we in the John Nation are totally in support of that. All we ask is firstly to ourselves to continue to spread this gospel of peace and unity founded on justice. All we ask our leaders, while congratulating you, our father, head of PANDEF, and all the heads of delegations, while thanking and appreciating you all for supporting the cause for a just and egalitarian and prosperous Nigeria, we urge you all to also sensitize your leaders, elected leaders in the National Assembly, leaders in the various houses of assembly, and leaders of opinion, so that we can all form a united front to push for appropriate constitutional reform that can bring about the restructuring we are here to talk about. Restructuring, as I said, is not just a hollow ideal of our slogan. Here we live with degradation of our environment. Here we produce resources from under our feet. And people stay in Abuja and Lagos and in other capitals of the world and call it, apportion it the way they like and call it oil blocks and give it to whoever they please. And I've said over and over again that what they sit down in Abuja and Lagos and other world capitals and call oil blocks are in fact and in truth the historical, ancestral properties of the peoples of the Niger Delta. That's what they call an oil block. And so, as a necessary element of restructuring, we are talking about control of our resources. We are talking about devolution of powers. And if you are out there whining about killings that are going on, then you should know that the answer to that is restructuring. So that you in your states and you, the people of your various areas, will have the capacity to be responsible for your own security, internal security. But I say that all of these, in spite of all these contradictions in this state, because we have borne the brunt of feeding Nigeria since 1956 till date, we are lovers of Nigeria. We are not its enemies. We have borne the brunt for this long. All we say is we want justice. We want constitutional reforms. Let our nation be known as a nation of justice. No nation is sustainable if it is founded on injustice. And the unity of a nation cannot be sustained only by intimidation. It cannot be sustained by injustice. It cannot be sustained by appeal to majority power. No. Nations are built by shared values, not by intimidation. Nations are sustained by a common shared belief in the common destiny of the peoples of that nation. And so I call for understanding, and I charge all our leaders, I myself included, to go out there and engage, even and especially with those who may not see things from our point of view, and persuade them, know their fears, know their concerns, understand their point of view. That's what it means to live in a multi-ethnic, multi-religious nation like Nigeria. Let us engage more and urge them to be just, and remind them that no nation, however strong its military might, like we have seen with USSR of old, can be sustained if its unity and internal dynamics are not founded on what is right, what is just, and what is proper, and what is sustainable. No nation, no amount of military might, no amount of intimidation, no internal security mechanism can sustain unity and continuation of a country. It is we, the people, that can make our nation. And our position in this state is to support the Nigerian project. But in doing so, we will not shy away from raising the right issues, the issues that have to be raised, about environmental justice, about inclusiveness and inclusion in the economy that is generated from our backyard and from our soil. We will not stop talking about the need for justice and equity in the Nigerian Federation. Because in the end, these are the elements that can sustain a great country that we can pass over to succeeding generations. So I thank you, our leader, the leader of PANDEF, Pak Clark, for your leadership and service. I thank all of you in PANDEF. I thank the leaders of the various ethnic delegations that are here. Our nation is a nation of ethnic nationalities. You all have a great role to play, and we appreciate the leadership and the direction you are giving. But we urge you not to rest on your oars, because we've lived for so long with injustice that we feel so used to being in an unjust environment. Let us work together and remind our friends and fellow Nigerians, fellow citizens, that first we are united by a common and shared humanity. And in the human family, there is need to always talk about justice. Apart from that, we are also united as common citizens of a great nation. We are Nigerians, and proudly so. And on top of it all, we are here, those of us who are here, share a common belief in the ideals of justice. So I urge you all to continue to spread the gospel according to justice. That the National Assembly should get ready to do what it has to do. That the President of our country should, as I've always said over and over again, pay particular attention to the need to achieve a restructured Nigeria before even the next general elections 2019. I want to use this opportunity lastly to appreciate and commend at least a step, no matter how small, taken by the other party. And I commend Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State and his team for raising once again those issues that need to be raised. And we call for sincerity in the implementation of that report. I call on the chairman of that party to do the needful. I call on the president, who is leader of that party and the country, to ensure that these matters are properly synthesized and brought to the National Assembly for steps to be taken. And that's where we all come in, to mobilize opinion. But as I said again, we should also extend an olive branch, contact all those, especially those who do not see things from our point of view in this country. I will also in the coming weeks and months be intensifying my contacts and discussions, and I urge you all to do the same, so that we can break down the walls of miscommunication and misunderstanding and see how we can build consensus on the issues that can bring stability and justice to the people of our country. I want to thank you once again for coming to Bayelsa. As we go back, continue to spread the story of the new Bayelsa, a state that is on focus, a state that is at peace with itself, a state that is at peace with the rest of the country and the rest of the world, a state that is willing to collaborate with all those who have ideas that will advance the cause of justice, stability, prosperity, and development. Thank you very much, and welcome, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Wow. Let's please put down together for His Excellency the Governor of Bayelsa State. At this point, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite to also give a goodwill message on this auspicious occasion. His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is here today ably represented by distinguished Senator Nimi Balia Amange. Shall we please put down together for him as he comes to make a goodwill message? Thank you.
This message is from the former President, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, who is right now in Sierra Leone. He would have loved to be here personally. This South-South rally is being organized in his own state. But for international engagement that has moved him to Sierra Leone, as I speak with you now, he's in Sierra Leone monitoring Sierra Leone's election. The governor of Bayelsa State, my own brother, Seriake Dickson, other South-South governors here represented, the deputy governor of Bayelsa State, Rear Admiral Boribia Jonah, retired, members of the National Assembly, King Alfred Papakuri Yete-Smith, who is the chairman of the International Council and co-chairman of PANDEF, the national leader of PANDEF, Chief E.K. Clark, national leader of Ohanize Indibu, national president of Middle Belt Forum, and national leader of Afenifere. Former governors here present, former deputy governor here present, the organizing committee of this magnitude, the members of my friends and members of the press. I sincerely thank the organizing of this event, tagged Mega Rally, especially Chief E.K. Clark, CON, who is the national leader of Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, for inviting me to be part of it. I'm aware that so much energy and man-hours have gone into putting this program together. I also commend all of you who have turned up for this rally, for your tenacity of purpose and commitment to the well-being of our citizens and our nation.
I am delighted that Nigerians of various age, class, and trade, of diverse faith and in different zones, are showing deep commitment to this spirit-lifting debate toward arriving at a practical and acceptable solution that will guarantee a better future for our country and our hard-working citizens. I'm even more delighted that this geopolitical zone, the Niger Delta, is quite upbeat about the public consultation and debate going on across the country. This is heartwarming because it is a pointer to the fact that the Niger Delta has come a long way from the time of unease and militancy to the present, where people of the zone can gather to hold a peaceful dialogue and conversation on how best to move our federation forward. Last month, Honorable Seriake Dickson, my state governor, who is playing a pivotal role in this consultation, led a team of some key Niger Delta leaders to my office in Yenagoa to brief me on the work being done by the committee set up by this group. I consider today's event as the culmination of those efforts. I believe that this is the way to go. We have to dialogue in order to avoid the opposite action, which could bring about destruction to life, property, and the very thing that hold us together as members of the Nigerian Federation. For a long time, citizens of this great nation had felt the need to reappraise, reform, restructure our federation to make it work effectively for all Nigerians. I convened the 2014 National Conference. As my own answer to that national yearning, I always explain to people that in convening the conference, I had my mind trained on establishing a polity that would work for our people and further unite our country, the one that will close the gaps along tribal, ethnic, or religious lines. It seems that until we come up with a more generally acceptable way of running our republic, there is every likelihood that our nation will continue to witness agitations and protests from groups and nationalities that believe, rightly or wrongly, they have been handed the short end of the stick. Every part of this country needs to have the assurance and the confidence to realize their full potential and to participate equally in those activities that deliver development and progress to our people. The goal of the 500-member conference, made up of young and old and diverse people from all walks of life, as true representatives of different interest groups in our country, was to thoroughly and freely discuss and agree on every issue that had for long agitated the minds of Nigerians on how best to run the Federation. This they did to the best of their abilities, and to the satisfaction of most stakeholders. As decisions were uniquely reached by consensus. Recent agitations, clamors, and profile solutions have not radically departed from those findings. To me, it's a confirmation of the fact that the 2014 CONFAB report needs to be looked into by the authorities. I believe the CONFAB report contains recommendations that provide answers to most of those questions that agitate the mind of Nigerians today. I am delighted that a forum like this one and many others are being convened to further focus attention on those issues that have been comprehensively covered in that report. I urge participants to, in your deliberation, closely study the recommendations of the conference with a view to finding common ground and align yourself to the call for their implementation. I strongly believe that if implemented, the recommendations will go a long way in resolving Nigeria's structural challenges and setting the country on the right path towards sustainable development, where Nigeria has equal rights to the political and economic space. My dear brothers and sisters, North, South, East, and West, as it has been since I started my political life till today, once again, I call on all of us to continue to solidify our oneness and common heritage and continue to live in peace. For no society makes progress where the blood of the innocent and the weak waters the ground for causes which they have no hands in creating. On this note, I wish you a fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
The next man I'm about to call is a man who has spent several decades promoting his people. He's a man who today is carrying out what we call more than a handshake across the Niger. It is a handshake across the zones. He's been here for the past 2 days, and looking at him is energetic and so strong. You won't believe that on the 10th of April this year, he'll be clocking 90 years. I'm talking about one of the foremost leaders of Afenifere. Please put your hands together for Chief Ayo Adebanjo. Please put your hands together for him.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Bayelsa State, Your Excellency, all other former governors, I salute you. You will pardon me to stand on existing protocol because I have a little story to tell and I don't want protocol to take my time. Ladies and gentlemen, Bayelsa, I say congratulations. Afenifere is here not to join people to ask for restructuring. We come here to celebrate that the battle we have started since 1954, and people were mocking us, telling us to be separatists, regionalists, tribalists, all sorts of names, has borne fruit. See what creation of state has done for Bayelsa. See what Dickson has done. If there has been no creation of state, if there has been no recognition of minorities, will you have this? When we were going to the London Constitutional Conference in 1954, the leaders of the party in the country then, except if I want to, they don't believe you minorities exist. It was Chief Awolowo. He insisted there are minorities here. I want you Bayelsans to listen. Afenifere is not here to come on campaign. Afenifere is come here to celebrate that the battle that we carried on over the years has borne a fruitful stream. When we were going to the London Constitutional Conference, no other political party allowed representation from the minorities. The Eastern region, the Northern region, they don't regard any minorities there. It was Chief Awolowo who put all these minorities in the Western Nigeria delegation to London. The BRICS, the Titakas, and the Titakas from this from the Middle Belt, BRICS from rivers from this area, and all other minorities who represented at that time. It was there the colonial office was convinced that there are minorities when the late Dr. Azikiwe said there are none. When the late Ahmadu Bello said there are none. And Chief Awolowo said, who are these? Where do they come from? It is that decision that gave rise to a willing commission of inquiry as to the minorities in Nigeria, thereby creating Bayelsa, Rivers, and before that it was called Save Forever. We thank God for his mercies. Now we have achieved what we wanted, we have had it. But some rascals drew us back in 1966. It was on the basis of this feudalism that we got independence. But when these rascals came in 1966, they reverted the situation and gave us back to where we are. And when they decided to go in 1998, we now say, gentlemen, you are a military officer, you force yourself on us, and you force a unity constitution of us, send us back to where we are, which is federalism. This is the result, beginning of restructuring. Because the military restructured Nigeria, we now restructure it back to federalism where you met us. No more, no less. And the question I always ask Buhari, he cannot be more northerner than Saudana. Saudana, Azikiwe, and Awolowo gave us federalism. And we say, send us back there. If anybody is doubting about what is restructuring, that is what it means. It means send us back to the constitution under which we had our independence. If anybody doesn't want to cheat, if anybody doesn't want to cause confusion, we should do that for us. Simple, so that everybody can have equity. We are not asking for anything unusual if nobody wants to cheat. If anybody believes in equity, if everybody believes in peace, if everybody believes in the unity of this country in peace, not by force. To do it by force, that's where you have problem. That is the definition of restructuring. That is to explain to you, nobody should confuse anybody by saying restructuring is breaking the country. That is deceit. That is propaganda. Anybody who doesn't want restructuring, that is the man who wants to break the country. I have accused Buhari before. If Buhari, APC, is opposed to restructuring, they are the people who want to break Nigeria. And Nigeria will not stand under this. We will not stand under a constitution written by the military, by a section of the country, not on our life. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to action. All other things have been happening because we are under an oppressive government. Because of our unity, because of our agitation, these people are now lying up behind restructuring. We accuse the president. I accuse the president of aiding and abetting the cattle rearers to kill us. And I mean it. I don't want the publicity man, Adesina, to come and make a release that this is not true. what the president should do to refute my accusation, to tell me that I'm not right with him. One, he should declare the cattle bearers a terrorist organization. Why? How many people did IPOD people kill before he declared them a terrorist organization? Here is an organization that has been killing and raping over the country. There should be no hesitation about that. Two, that is to refute my allegation that is a supporter or that is condoning the action of terrorism in the country. Two, it should not take him any problem to disarm the cattle rearers. They don't rear cattle with AK-47. He should declare immediately that the people must be disarmed. He should send the Inspector General of Police after the cattle harassment that anybody with arms should be arrested. Three, if Buhari is serious that he's the president of Nigeria and he's not the president of Katsina, the governor of Benue State ought to produce a letter written to him by the cattle rearers that they are coming to invade him, that they should leave that place for them. It is their territory. Those people are known. They are not unknown. We have Inspector General of Police. We have the DSS. For Buhari and as the president of this country, who does not aid cattle rearers in destroying us, he should send the Inspector General of Police to go after those who wrote that letter, get them arrested and get them prosecuted. Until he does that, he is aiding and abetting terrorists. Gentlemen, I come back to you youths. This battle will not be fought with pen and paper. The battle is for you, not for people who are 90, not for class, not for all those of who are old. We are only there reminding you your right. To get the thing done, you used to be up and doing. And in this connection, I congratulate you from the Niger Delta. I congratulate you from the Southeast. I have declared before, and I'm saying openly that I am a Biafra. I only don't believe in violence. That is different. The people are calling for Biafra, nothing more than they want autonomy. That is why we are gathered here. And if he's serious about it, he should do it now. So, he's now saying he's going to do restructuring and his party. If it is not for propaganda, if it is not for election, let them do restructuring before 2019. No more, no less.
Thank you very much. Very firm words from the leader of the Afenifere delegation to this mega rally, Chief Ayo Adebanjo. Shall we please put hands together for him? Well, next I want to invite to also make a solidarity speech a man who has spoken twice between yesterday and today, and each of the times I listened to him, I appreciated his gift of the gab. Very eloquent and very articulate. Little wonder he is leading the Pan-Igbo Sociocultural Organization, Yohanese. It is my pleasure, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to now invite to also speak Chief Nia John Nwodo of the Yohanese in Igbo. Shall we please put hands together for him? Aha! Izo! Yeah. Aha! Izo! Yeah. Izo, can you hear me? Yeah. Your Excellency, Governor Dickson and Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, please permit me to rest on existing protocol. We have come to the Jerusalem of the Izon nation. We have come to the south of Nigeria. We have come to the hen that lays the golden egg. We have come here to dramatize the solidarity of the people of southern Nigeria and of the middle belt of Nigeria in the call for a new structure of Nigeria based on equity and on the principles of federalism. Why do we want restructuring? For young people who have come here, when you go, I want you to be the apostles of this principle. That's why I am asking this question like a teacher asks in class, and I will help you to answer it. We want restructuring because every country is moving forward, but our country is moving backwards. The reasons I say this are as follows. Let me first of all talk about unity. The essence of a federation is to crystallize unity of the federating units. When I was a young boy growing up in Enugu in the early 60s, I was privileged to watch a campaign in Enugu. It was a campaign for who would become the mayor of Enugu municipality. It was done by adult suffrage. That means one man, one vote, one woman, one vote, so long as you were above 18. The parties fielded candidates. The NCNC, which was in power in eastern Nigeria, fielded a Katsina man called Umaru Altini to run for mayor of Enugu. He beat an Igbo man who was fielded by Action Group. That was unity in practice. Now, in Western Nigeria, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and the coalition of Ibadan Porakwo and those that he stood for election into the Western House of Assembly, they won the majority of legislators. And Dr. Azikiwe and Onitsha man would have become premier of Western Nigeria, but for carpet crossing. In Lagos, Mbonu Ojike was deputy speaker of the House. As we grew up in Enugu, I saw the accountant general of the federation, a Yoruba man, Mr. Willoughby, a civil servant, but working in Eastern Nigerian government and reaching the point of an accountant general. My father's next door neighbor was from these parts. He was a man called Honorable Kalada Kiri. I grew up with his children. When my parents travel, they take us to Kalada Kiri's house. When they travel, they take Kalada Kiri's children to our house. I became friends with the Mukes in Rivers State. I became friends with the masses in Rivers State. And our friendship still lasts till today. But not anymore. Not anymore. There was a time when, in the Northern House of Chiefs, an Igbo man called Okonkwo was a member of the House of Chiefs. The place he founded his company is now called Kwankwason because they couldn't pronounce Okonkwo and Sons. They call it Kwankwason. It is when Nigeria was united. We no longer are united. Nigerians are killing Nigerians everywhere. In Ondo, they nearly murdered the former secretary to government of the federation in his own farm. In Benue, they are killing them day by day. In Plateau, they are butchering them day by day. In Enugu, they came to Uzuwani local government, Nibo town, and killed 100 people. In Agatu, in Benue State, they killed 500 people. It has never been this bad. That's why we want restructuring. Because as your governor says, when you are restructured, you have domestic police. Your state will make laws for the good governance of your state. And any headsman coming here will only come on the conditions of the Bayelsa state government. In the same way, our people going to any other part of Nigeria will go on the terms of the government of that state. That promotes a more peaceful society. Sometimes my friends in northern Nigeria tell me that I support restructuring because we in the south want to perpetuate monopoly of oil.
so that they will not have access to oil money. Well, at the end of the war, they overthrew our constitution and threw away the constitution negotiated by Nigerians in 1963. And they brought us a unitary system. And they took the oil and distributed it according to local governments and states, which they created as they like. And Oloibiri, the first oil well in Nigeria, its state has only 7 local governments. But some other 8 local governments. But some other people who have no oil have 40-something local governments. And the local governments get the same share as the 8 local governments get here for each local government. Is that unity? Is that equity? We were only reminded a few days ago that our development was so concentrated on mortar and bricks and disregarding human capital development and health. Let me tell you, when I started school in Enugu, I went to a primary school in Enugu called St. Patrick's Iva Valley. It was in the rural part of Enugu. My father was minister and member of Eastern House of Assembly. My classmate was a man called Peter Enejere. Peter Enejere was the junior brother of my father's driver. Because Nigeria then was a restructured Nigeria, it was possible for my father's driver's brother and myself to go to the same primary school. Right now, my driver's son cannot afford the school that my son goes to. Is it fair? I went to a secondary school called College of Immaculate Conception, Enugu, CIC. 2 of my classmates were recipients of my father's scholarship. They beat me in physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. I beat them in Bible knowledge, history, English language, and literature. But they beat me in objective questions. The objective subjects, you either scored 100% or 0. In the subjective subjects, you scored according to the points you wrote and according to the emotional predisposition of the examiner. Consequently, when the report came, even though we all passed, they scored higher positions than me. The knock my father gave me on the head, that people he was paying school fees passed me in school, gave me a headache for 1 week. But it was because Nigeria was restructured. It was because you could go to a school because you passed into it, not because you knew somebody there. When I sat entrance for University of Ibadan, my people didn't know anybody in Ibadan. 79 of us were admitted to the Faculty of Social Sciences. Our names were published in Daily Times according to the order of merit. When I got there, I stood for election as president of Students' Union. And the Yoruba students were 65% of the population of the university. But I won because Nigeria was what? Restructured. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if my generation dies, leaving our children without seeing the kind of society we saw and grew up in, we are failed fathers. What we have come to tell you today is this struggle requires all of us. It requires everyone's hand on deck. The peace we have in our country is an uneasy peace. It cannot be a well-grounded peace until we are all happy and proud to be equal members of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Aha is on! Aha is on! Is on, can you hear me? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's the President General Ohaneze Ndibo. May I thus point, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, invite a man who is soft-spoken, but that doesn't mean he's not resolute when he makes his remarks. He's a man who led his people successfully, and because of his hard work and leading them very well, they sent him to the Senate. Please put your hands together for former governor of Plateau State and currently Senator Jonah Jang. He'll be speaking for the Middle Belt. Please put your hands together for him.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, my own friend and brother of Bayelsa State, my own brother, Seriake Dickson. My coming into Bayelsa has made me believe that people just need to be given the opportunity and they will show what they are capable of doing. I congratulate the people of Bayelsa State for re-electing Dickson for second tenure and have seen what this young man is doing for his people in this state. Congratulations. May God Almighty continue to bless you and bless the people of Bayelsa. My leaders, permit me to observe all protocols because of time frame. I want to appreciate my own brother, colleague, the Iroko himself, former Governor Mimiko, who considered for me to make this speech because he was to do it and he said I should do it. I'm sure the Middle Belt Forum will come to also speak because their president is here. I just want to say this. Nigeria has been independent for 57 years now. We are going to the 58th year. And what do we see of Nigeria today? We see misgovernance. We see hungry people. We see insecurity. We see a nation that has no direction. We see a nation that calls itself or prides itself as a giant of Africa, and yet it is not leading Africa. We talk without doing. I want to challenge all of us at my age bracket and those above me that we are on our way out. What are we leaving behind for our children after 57 years of independence? It would be a shame if this is the kind of Nigeria that we are passing on to our children and to our grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I want to therefore say that we have this last opportunity to make things right before we quit. And this opportunity we must take. If we fail to take this opportunity, then history will forget us. And the generations to come will curse our bones in their graves. May God forbid that in the mighty name of Jesus. My brothers, restructuring is not a political thing that we should be talking about. Restructuring is a must. It's a must do. And we have to do it and put this nation in a pedestal that our coming generations will have a foundation for which to build an egalitarian society. And this is the opportunity. 2019 calls for this opportunity. And I want to say that if we think this administration will do a restructuring of this country before 2019, we must be dreamers, because they have said it very clearly that they don't believe in restructuring, but when they know that the nation is crying for restructuring, they want to deceive us to vote them back to power and then say they are going to do restructuring. They are not going to do any restructuring. Restructuring must be done by the next government in 2019, and this next government, these four groups, the three south-south, southwest, southeast, and in the south, and then the middle belt, in the middle belt, if we come together, we'll put a government in place that will ensure restructuring is done. And I want to advise that this restructuring will be done successfully if we look at the kind of people we are electing to the National Assembly, who will eventually move the bringing in of a new constitution with the new restructuring. I'm saying that There are people that if you just send them, they're likely going to start collecting money, and at the end of the day, they will not agree to go for restructuring. So let us look at the kind of people, the quality of people, people who are prepared to die for this nation, that you send to the National Assembly, who would be prepared with a good president that will propose the restructuring of this country and the amendment of the Constitution to bring in the restructuring. If we don't do that, then we'll just be wasting our time. I want to thank you for this opportunity and congratulate PANDEF for organizing this mega rally. And I'm saying that you will be welcomed in the Middle Belt for our own mega rally as soon as we are given the date to organize one. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Shall we please put hands together for distinguished Senator Jonah Jang?
We'll now be taking remarks from youth leaders, and the man I'm about to invite is a voice in the Niger Delta, a man who consistently cries and speaks for the rights of the youths, the women, the children, and the elders in the Niger Delta. Is a former president of the Ijo Youth Council, Alhaji Mujahid Asari Dokubo. Please put your hands together for him.
Isa, Asawana, Asawana, Asawana. I want to say that I'm going to say things that a lot of people will not like. A lot of people will not like it. Our people should be given three options. Three options. We should do internal plebiscite, referendum on three key issues, on three questions. And these questions are: do you want to remain in Nigeria as it is? Do you want a restructured Nigeria? Or do you want, like I want, a destroyed Nigeria? I am an Ijo man. Listen to me. I am an Ijo man. God did not create me a Nigerian. God never made a mistake when he made me an Ijo man. If God wanted to make me a Nigerian, he would have created me a Nigerian. So the choice is before us. Every one of us that is seated here. I can see His Royal Majesty Alfred Smith. Let His Royal Majesty Alfred Smith ask himself some questions. Are you like those who were like you in 1967? Do you have the same access that they have to all offices of government as they have, even though you are a wonder governor? Why should you be restricted to Bayelsa? Because some people believe that we are mere appendages, that this country does not belong to us. That they are giving us just a piece of it. I am an Ijo man. Ijo se koro ikutu mojike ya koro ikutu tamojike. Ijo se koro ikutu I'm not hearing you. Tamojike ya. Yes, we are strong and powerful. We are amma doko doko biopo. We are small but courageous. We are small but brave. And anybody who attempts to subdue us will be subdued. My dear brothers and sisters,
What I believe in is this. I want to ask Seriake a question. You were a minister in Gowon's government, the same time with Olusegun Obasanjo. You were a senator. Do you have the same access to offices of government like your colleagues when you are serving in the same government? If it is no, then there is nothing to restructure about Nigeria. If you have suffered with all your education, with all your qualification, with all the title attached to your name, who am I, Takuba Asare, that I will stand before these people? The only way is what the good book says. The kingdom of God suffereth violence, and violence taketh it by force. The wise book also says, listen to me, I saw slaves riding on horseback and princes walking on foot. That is what describes us happily very well. My belief is this: when the enemy shall come like a flood against us, when the enemy shall come like a flood against us, if you are going to be a standard against them, please stand up and indicate it. If you are going to be a standard against them, stand up and indicate it. We are going to stand up together, shoulder to shoulder, hands to hands, and we are going to tell tyranny, you cannot cross this line. Restructuring is good, but they said they don't want restructuring. Are we going to beg them for restructuring? We are not going to beg them. So for me, let us look for other options. And the only option, and they bring me warime and the cancer, and they can't watch about it. That is the only way. The robots, the shakris, the jaws, the piron, the thieves will become themselves again. Thank you.
Well, at this point, we are going to invite to address this august gathering a man who is gentle in his looks, very, very articulate and punchy in his presentations, like he did earlier today when he had to read out the resolutions of the Conference of the South-South, the Southwest and the Middle Belt People's Forum in Yenagoa. It is my pleasure, Your Excellencies, at this point to invite Dr. Bala Takaya. Shall we please put hands together for him?
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Bayelsa State, Your Excellencies, distinguished elders and leaders here at this rally, I bring you greetings from the Middle Belt community. In bringing you greetings, they want me to pass one message, that the issue of restructuring is a foregone conclusion as far as Middle Belt community is concerned. On restructuring, we stand. They also want me to make a reminder that in coming here, I should remind you that I, their son, they are sending me home because there is a lot that is common between the Middle Belt and the people of the South-South in general. they call us minorities in the Middle Belt. They call you minorities in the South. Are we really minorities? Numerically, we are superior. If we are not minorities, let's show it in the ballot box. Let's show it in our movement for restructuring Nigeria. We are also the backbone of the unity of Nigeria. Physically, it's God that has planned it that way. Without the Middle Belt, the North and the South cannot unite. Without the South-South, the East and the West cannot unite. So we are the glue that holds Nigeria. With this common heritage that is natural, let us rise to our responsibilities and make sure that we turn Nigeria around and we change the paradigm of Nigerian politics once and for all. Let's get up on our feet. When we fought the Civil War, the Middle Belt did their best holistically. They were heroes at the war field. Likewise, the South-South did their best and they were heroes on the war field. But one thing united us. We were not fighting our brothers. We were very anxious that no part of us, Nigeria, should get away. And so we fought to keep Nigeria together because we love our brothers. And we wanted to put this message across in action. Until today, we love Nigeria. We do not wish a situation where any ethnic group in Nigeria will break away from Nigeria. That was what we fought for. And we wanted to make sure the unity, the brotherhood continues. There may have been mistakes that were made by officers and groups during the war, but that's what war character is. You cannot predict all part of it. But may God forgive us and may we forgive one another. So from now on, our request is, let's remember the Middle Belt and the South-South are the same people. The Middle Belt and the South-South are the glue that holds Nigeria, and the Middle Belt loves every corner of Nigeria and will not want to part friendship with neither the West nor the East. Certainly also, we are not against the North. That is our position and that is our greeting from the Middle Belt. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bala Takaya. Please, a better round of applause for him. I will now be inviting to speak on behalf of the women, a woman who has made a mark even in the Senate. Please join me in welcoming Senator Stella Omu as she comes to make her remarks on behalf of the women. Please put your hands together for her.
But because I'm aware that all Nigerians are here, I'm going to greet all Nigerians in my language, Isoko. Isoko Wado! Nigeria Wado! 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 Wado, Wade. Your Excellency, the Governor of Bayelsa State, our great leader, the leader of PANDEF, Ike Clark, and permit me to stand on the existing protocol because of the want of time. All the members who are here, we all listen attentively to His Excellency, the Governor of this state. He said it all. And for me to use our parliamentary language, I want to say, I second all that he said. When I say I second, what did he actually say? He said, for Nigeria to enjoy political stability, we need restructuring. He said, for Nigeria to enjoy social harmony, we need restructuring. He said, for Nigeria to enjoy even development, we need restructuring. He said, for Nigeria to enjoy peace, unity, justice, we need restructuring. My dear fathers, mothers, children, boys and girls. So what are we here saying? We are saying all those who in our authority, let them listen to the voice of the people. Because we as mothers, we know it. If you are in the house, you are cooking one food, and people are rejecting it. They say, no, mommy, we don't like this food. Again and again and again. What do? You change. You change the recipe. So restructuring is nothing to fear about. Restructuring just means reorganization in order to get peace, unity, and justice that we are talking about. We mothers, we are crying that our children will go to school and come back, no jobs. We mothers, we are crying. We will go to the farm. The Fulani headsmen, they will drive us from the farm. And we are saying the answer to this is restructuring. Because even when you restructure, we are now thinking about the police to get state police where we can manage ourselves. We are saying that not just for our children, each state should be able to manage their own resources. With this, we will give jobs to our children, our women, our boys. That is the essence of restructuring. We are saying restructuring, we are also saying this issue of local government. The Constitution is saying 774 local government. When you restructure, you remove this aspect of it from the Constitution. A state who wants to manage, and he knows he can manage about 1,000 states, and so he should do that. That who can only manage only one state, he should do that. So the essence of restructuring is to reorganize everything that we are doing today, so that tomorrow our children will be able to get jobs. Tomorrow there will be peace. Tomorrow there will be unity. Tomorrow there will be stability. Tomorrow there will be fairness. Tomorrow there will be happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, all we are saying, let God lead us and give us the wherewithal to navigate our way towards everything that will bring about restructuring, arming us with the rod of Moses, so at the end of the day, we will conquer all our enemies who are not listening to that word restructuring. At the end of the day, they will change their minds, and this restructuring we are talking about, we will achieve it to the glory of God. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for ensuring that the women had a chance to say one word at today's gathering. And thank you all that came from all over the world, the country, south, southeast, middle belt, southwest, and all over Nigeria. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. That has been Senator Stella Omo speaking on behalf of the great women of the South. Shall we please put hands together for her? At this point, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have
the representatives of the governor of Akwa-Ibom State and that of Delta State. They will make brief solidarity speeches, 2 minutes each. May I, at this point, therefore, invite to speak the representative of the governor of Akwa-Ibom State, His Excellency Emmanuel Udom. He's here ably represented by his secretary to government. It is my pleasure to invite Engineer Dr. Emmanuel Ekowem. Please, a round of applause for him.
Akwa-Ibom is on. Niger Delta is on. South Side is on. Nigeria is on. I recognize, on behalf of my boss, the Executive Governor of Akwa-Ibom State, Deacon Udom Emmanuel. I recognize the Executive Governor of Bayelsa State, His Excellency Seriake Dickson. I recognize the leader of PANDEF. I recognize all the royal fathers, my brothers and my sisters of the South-South geopolitical region, my friends and my brothers of Southwest, represented by Afenifere that is eminently present here, and our friends and our brothers and sisters from Ahaneze, and our brothers and friends from the north-central part of this country. Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, the fact is this: every status quo, no matter how oppressive, no matter how unjust, no matter how reprobate, has their or its beneficiaries. We have talked for a long time about restructure, and we cannot run away from that fact. The question is, who are the status quo beneficiaries? That fact is well known by all and sundry in our country, and the fact is this: they will want to divide and rule. They will want to intimidate, they will want to blackmail, they will want to lie, they will want to hoodwink, but we would not succumb to blackmail or intimidation. And one of the potent weapons of blackmail is this offensive development that was taken not too long ago, a few months back, of reintroduction, what was settled, and that is the offshore-onshore dichotomy. Ladies and gentlemen, I want all of us to know this, because it has been said often in history. Some people can deceive some of the people some of the time. They can deceive some of the people all the time. They can deceive all the people some of the time, but they cannot deceive all the people all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, we from Akwa-Ibom State, we stand resolute, we stand determined to protect our God-given right, and we will not surrender. And I appeal to all our brothers and sisters from the Federation of Nigeria to stand firm, to resist all forms of oppression and injustice. The time is now to restructure Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's the representative of the governor of Akwa-Ibom State, Engineer Dr. Emmanuel Ekowem. He's the secretary to the state government of Akwa-Ibom State. Please put your hands together for him. I'll now be inviting to speak also for 2 minutes the representative of the governor of Delta State, is the special advisor on infrastructure and housing development, Senator Emmanuel Edesiri Egwara-Wodo. Please put your hands together for him.
Eyes on! Eyes on! It's like a baby. Our Papa, Senator Dr. Chief Ike Clark, our amiable dynamic governor of Bayelsa State, my own brother, countryman governor. I bring greetings from the governor of Delta State, By the way, all other protocols observed. I bring greetings from the governor of Delta State. He would have loved to be here. Because as you know, there's not much difference between Bayelsa and Delta State. In fact, when you are crossing from one into the other, you'll never notice the difference. So whatever touches Bayelsa State, touches Delta State. And of course, every part of Niger Delta suffers from the same thing: exploitation and deprivation. So, your son, who would have loved to be here, says he's standing with PANDEF and Papa Ike Clark, shoulder to shoulder in this battle, because he knows that PANDEF is taking Niger Delta to the next level, and also that at the end of these battles, this is what will bring peace to Nigeria, that permanent peace. What PANDEF is doing here today will at the end bring peace to Niger Delta and to Nigeria as a whole. So he is standing shoulder to shoulder with PANDEF in this journey. Like when the issue of herdsmen came suddenly, he told the world, he told Nigeria that there is no land for cattle colony in Delta State. And he says that Nigeria is like a family with grown children. The father does not seem to know that these children are now grown. Therefore, the father still treats these adults now as children. And he says the children, though they are very, very many, there are some who are more blessed, as it were, who are feeding the family. But it will look like the stomach of those blessed children is getting smaller and smaller, and the stomach of the other children is getting bigger and bigger. Therefore, he says, on this issue of restructuring, which he has been doing, which he has been talking about, he is standing with PANDEF. He supports PANDEF. He says Papa should see him as he has always been, like one of his other sons. Papa has many sons. So, all Papa has to do is send him to anywhere in Nigeria, in the world, even along with what he's doing, so that the PANDEF's project can be realized. Mr. Akwa-Ibom
witnessed a formal inauguration of the National Executive of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, who are the brains behind this mega rally we are having here today. Already on the podium are members of the National Executive of PANDEF. And I'm told the inauguration is going to be done by our leader, our father, our foremost leader of our nation. Let's please put down together as I request, sir, quickly read out the names of the newly constituted Executive Council of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF. We have as the National Chairman, Air Commodore Edogin State, Nkanga, retired, former Governor of Akwa-Ibom State, National Chairman. We have as Deputy National Chairman, Chief Francis Dokola, MFR. We have as National Secretary, Dr. Alfred Mulade. We have as the Assistant National Secretary, Honorable Comrade Kenneth Robinson. We have Honorable Agbiji M. Agbiji as National Financial Secretary. We have Honorable Charles Harry as National Treasurer. We also have His Highness Anabs Sarah Igbe as National Publicity Secretary / PRO. We have Mrs. Nella Andem Rabana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria as National Legal Advisor. We have High Chief Johnson Osai Opone, FCA, National Auditor. We have Engineer Efosa Akwa-Ibom, National Organizing Secretary. We have as Assistant National Organizing Secretary, Dr. Emmanuel Akwa-Ibom. We have as National Women Leader, Chief Mrs. Betty Igbeyi, MNI. We have as the Assistant National Women Leader, Honorable Vivian Ere Imanana. We have as a National Youth Leader, Honorable Comrade Famous Downimia. And last and by no means the least, the Assistant National Youth Leader, Olorogun Vincent Oyibode. Let's please put hands together for them. Having taken a rundown of the list of the new executive of PANDEF, it is therefore my pleasure to most respectfully invite our father, Pa Ike Clark, to formally inaugurate them. Let's please put hands together for him.
Thank you very much. In the name of the Almighty God, I hereby inaugurate you as members of the National Executive of PANDEF. Thank you.